This is 89.1 Wider FM with a very special episode of the 8-Bit Hour. I am your host Austin here with these lovely ladies from...
We are some maids from Dreams Come Chuu Maid Cafe here in Michigan, mostly in the southeast Michigan area. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm Maid Rosea.
I made Nana.
And I made Kitsune.
Alright, well, I'm very thankful that you guys decided to do this. Like, legit, this is so cool. Okay, so I decided to check out a maid cafe, because pretty much I had nothing going on that morning. But you guys, put in a lot more work than just me showing up, I assume. So,
Of course.
how'd you guys get interested in the whole idea of a maid cafe to begin with? Especially, here.
Sure. So I have been in Dreams Come Chuu for about 8 years. I moved up to Michigan. I didn't know anybody. Really wanted to start a friend group. Met some fellow anime fans, and one of them introduced me to the Maid Cafe, and I was vaguely familiar with them from attending anime cons as a kid. And I said yes, because absolutely I wanted some new friends up here in Michigan. And of course, the cafe was largely populated by women, and so female anime fans that want to hang out with you are hard to come by, especially when you move somewhere brand new. So I was like, absolutely. And then 8 years later, I'm sort of in a position of leadership, and that's how I got here.
I would say it's pretty similar to me. When I moved here, I also wanted to find some friends and particularly find some friends that were a little bit older. I know we are in a particular university area, and so I wanted to, yeah, find friends around my age. And I thought it was a great way to meet people and learn new things and yeah, and have a good time. So that's how I joined.
I joined because I had watched an anime. It's like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. And so I kind of knew a little bit about maids and stuff and maid cafes. But originally, when I first came to the city, I was too shy to apply. So I just ended up going to the cafe twice. And after my second time, I was like, "Huh, I think I'm ready to do this." So I auditioned and yeah, I got in.
We tricked her. Just kidding.
Okay, you guys said you went to the cafe twice. Do you guys just do conventions, or is there an actual location?
There is not an actual brick and mortar location. It's mostly pop-up events. We've done some events at businesses around Michigan, but we've largely done anime conventions. Our home base being Congenai, which is a small anime con out of the University of Michigan. And in the past few years, I've gotten a little bit more confidence in being more of a true small business, and we've been branching out to other conventions such as DokidoCon.
Where I saw y'all's performance, and it was great.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank
Thank you. Thanks for taking a chance on us.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at Doki Con. It's like, what else am I gonna do on a Sunday morning? Spend more money at the art alley? Come on.
Come on.
Well, yes, and
Well, yes, I also did that.
and
But also check out a maid cafe. Okay,
Right.
so you guys mentioned auditioning, and I've been following your page since I visited, and I know auditions were recent. What is an audition to be a maid?
We actually have the application for our maid cafe still open right now as of this conversation we're having. The auditions haven't happened yet. Really excited to meet some new people to audition. Basically, we request people send in a little bit of information about them. Got to make sure people are real humans on the internet. Make sure they know what they're getting into the best we can, because a lot of cafes could vary quite a bit. So we want to make sure they know what we're about and they know what they're signing up for. And we go through the applications, and if they fit sort of what we're looking for in the cafe for that season, we'll contact them and invite them to do a a audition dance.
Is that a dance they choose? Do you make them learn a specific dance?
Yeah, we send them a dance that we choose, sort of our maid shadow council. We jokingly call it that. And we send it to the recruits and we tell them, like, can you learn this 30-second portion of this dance and this video? And then we have them come and perform it for us.
Okay, is the how cutthroat are you guys in terms of maid performance? I'm assuming is there like by the time you guys get there, it's like you're pretty much all the way in the door? Do a lot of people drop out after the dance? I mean,
Mm,
So
someone
I wouldn't say we're cutthroat really. Like we kind of welcome, like for example, I and Maid Kitsune didn't have dance experience before we joined. So I wouldn't say we're cutthroat, but the most important thing is people have to be self-motivated because none of us are teachers. And so after like once we get our dance practices going, we'll be like, it's expected that people take time to learn this on their own. It's not just one person teaching everyone. And we're like I think we're pretty good with like giving people feedback and like being kind to people. And I wouldn't say it's cutthroat, but it depends on what we're like looking for every year, I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't say we're cutthroat.
as someone who auditioned most recently, out of these two, I'd say there's a pretty large number of people that make it to the auditions where you have to come in person. And once you're kind of there, in front of a bunch of other people and you're doing like a fun kind of silly dance, it really comes down to the wire of like, can I keep doing this and add the outfit and add the like smiling and add all of the other performance aspects. So in that sense, I feel like it kind of naturally it like narrows it down to the few people who can do that. So it's kind of a beautiful
point.
industrial method. Yeah.
Two-way vibe check. Make sure
Yeah.
like, yes, this is where I want to be. And then we can also say, yes, you seem happy, like you'll fit this role that we're looking for.
Because you can be a fantastic dancer, but if you're not smiling and you're not having fun, then I don't feel like it's the best for
Okay.
me.
If you don't smile, you're out. Just kidding.
okay, so it's mainly about being like self-motivated and like a vibe check for both parties is at that point what it's about, I take it from what you guys said.
Definitely.
I'd say that's
Yeah.
accurate.
Do most people seem pretty invested into it, or do you get a lot of people who get up there and like, okay, I thought this would be fun, but like, I don't know if I could do that?
Actually, yeah, we definitely get people who show up or they find out what we're about behind the scenes and they're like, this isn't for me. And I respect that a lot. I respect the like someone being able to come up and say, I don't have time for this. I don't have the, like endurance or whatever it may be. Like this is actually not what I'm interested in doing. Like that's fine. I'd rather someone come up and be honest with us and themselves rather than sign up something that makes them unhappy. So it does happen. You get a variety of people, or some people are like, this is what I've always wanted to do, like it's, and then there's the in between, right?
Okay, yeah. As a college student, I can attest. I know plenty of people who will do the opposite and be like, I don't really like it, but I'm committed, so we're gonna stick through it. So I'm glad to see that you guys kind of encourage the opposite if they don't like it. They can be on their way.
It's hard. It's hard. I can understand. I can definitely sympathize with how it's hard to do something so new, and a costume that is stigmatized potentially based on the viewer of it, and how that could be like very difficult emotionally. It could be difficult, like I said, endurance wise, and so yeah, definitely like if it's not within your abilities, that's fine. Or interest, I suppose, is a better word.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys said that it's a lot, as you guys said, but like, is that like mostly the dance practice? Do you guys spend a lot of time just working on like fancy crepe art? Like how? Like, okay, once you've made it past the audition, how many like hours a week do you guys work on stuff, or does it vary depending on like con season or whatnot?
So it definitely varies. And I think for the average member, the main responsibility would be attending dance practice. We have 2 a week, sometimes more. But there are some of us in more leadership roles, and so that does require more work. And that's a lot of ongoing work. So keeping in touch with people, making sure things get done, making sure things are planned, making sure we're working far ahead. So that requires a lot more work. But I wouldn't say it's difficult work, and it is fun work because sometimes we like get together and do things. So yeah, it depends. For the average member, it would be like, I don't know, like 5 hours a week or so. And then for those of us in leadership roles, more of that. And then it kind of really gears up like a few weeks before the con, or whatever event we're putting on. But even then, it's not that much, that it mostly gears up for those of us in leadership.
And as someone who does a lot of like the more of like the less leadership position, I'd say that the dance is definitely what soaks up the most time because we emphasize like dance in our cafe, and it's kind of what you show up for. Like, yes, the crepes and stuff is fun, but it's really fun to see like a bunch of people who are really energized and are dancing on stage. So definitely before cons, we'll have people be like come to practice and be like, well, I'm gonna grind out this section to this section of the dance and like get it done. And so I've definitely been guilty of that, but it's all really fun work anyways. So
Yeah, I think what ends up happening a lot of the times people will join and we really want to work with people's schedules. Like I said, like keeping things realistic within the time and your ability is important. And we'll be like, okay, well, realistically, you have time to be maybe not so much in the dance side, but maybe more like the logistics side. And then often, and perhaps some people in this conversation are guilty of this, they're like, actually, the dancing is not too bad. And I kind of want to do that too. It seems fun. And
Is that
we're
me?
really
Oh my
lucky.
God, you're talking about
Yes.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like pretty often, like people are like, I don't think this aspect of the cafe is for me. And then they're, like they kind of warm up to the group and like, yeah, thankfully, like people end up being like, you know what, I want to do a little bit more now that I understand what's going on. Like, oh no.
Wow. I was just here for that like light shade thrown Nana's way.
crazy read.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
you enjoy it?
shade. It wasn't shade. I'm actually really happy to like know that people join us and they're like maybe a little hesitant and then like later on they're like, this is actually something I really enjoy and I want to do more.
There is something
Yeah,
magical to seeing it.
they kind of had to drag me, like not screaming, but they did. We so I originally got involved in just a logistics role, and then we all watched a show together. We hosted a watch party on our Discord server, which anyone can join from our Instagram, for a like Japanese survival show where they like make a group. And Maid Rosea and Maid Yuzu was like, oh, we're like, we should do the dance from the group from the show and you should be in it. And I kind of was like, oh, I don't know. And then Maid Yuna was like, yeah, you should do this. And I felt obliged. I was like, okay, well, now she's asked me, so
Yuna's very convincing.
Mm-mm.
Oh wait, and then to be clear, it was a idol reality survival
yes,
show.
not like Survivor or something. Yeah.
Okay, I think one of my friends has watched a show like that. I think I understand the
They're
type of show you're
super
talking about.
popular now.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I have a
Where, like, at
friend.
the end, they form an idol group, and it's like, yay.
Oh, I know about that. I heard about that because the one
Yes.
German guy got stuck there for like 6 months.
Yes, that was
Yes,
very
yeah.
famous. Oh my god.
And then I had my
And then,
friend
like,
explain
won.
to me what that meant because I'm not like, I watch like maybe a couple animes here and there, but I'm like not big into K-pop where she is obsessed and I think is learning
Right.
Korean just so she can watch more shows. So it's like,
Yeah.
please explain this thing to me.
I think that was specifically a Chinese boy group.
That was a Chinese one.
possibly. Yeah.
See,
But
that is
still,
things I do not know.
similar concept. Similar concept. No, it was
Okay.
pretty iconic also, but never seen it, so I just know about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Since you guys were talking about dance, when I went there, I noticed that there was like different dances for each maid, and then like some group dances. Do you guys like? Is it like, hey, we would like you guys to have like 3 dances and like a group dance, or do the maids come to like the more logistical side of people? It's like, hey, I want to do like this song, and this song.
I can answer that one. So we have 2 types of dances that we do. We have group dances, which we perform kind of at larger functions, especially at our panels, where most members or like as many members as we can are part of it, and then we perform those. And so that's kind of like, oh, all the maids have to come to practice to learn the song, but maids are also allowed to choose songs that they would like to learn personally and then can perform them in cafe. So I performed at the cafe a song called Magical Cure Love Shot by Miku, by Hatsune Miku. And I had seen it because I had gone to the Miko Expo and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'd love to perform this on stage. So I put that I was going to learn Magical Cure Love Shot down, and everyone was like, yep, sounds good. And then I got to put it on kind of my dance menu at the cafe. And so people were able to order it and be like, wow, we love Hatsune Miku, which is great.
And we do like for like the events, like for Doki Dokkan, for example, we were like, anyone who wants to come with us, you have to put at least 3 dances on the dance menu. So we do kind of do what you said. But yeah, we just want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to dance and everyone's like committing in the same way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're much happier dancing to a song that you like than a song that somebody else picks. So it's the opportunity for people to express themselves.
What's your guys' like favorite song you've danced to?
Oh, mine
question.
is mine a couple years ago we did a dance performance. It was sort of a dream performance for me. It was called You and I by Dreamcatcher, which is a female K-pop group. That has
Oh,
more
I
of
know that
like
one. I
yeah, they have
think.
more of like a rock or metal like sort of vibe. They do a lot of different genres, but that's what they're known for. And in You and I, it's particularly famous for having props, where one of the members has a magical stick where she like it suddenly appears in her hand and she does some baton twirling. And the other members of in the dance have scarves that they sort of like wave around and like have like little section of their dance with scarves. But that was really cool because it was something that I've watched and I'm like, this is really iconic. It's something I love. One of my favorite groups, one of my favorite songs. But this is crazy. It'll never happen. And one of our maids happened to have been a drum major at some point and also like learned baton twirling for, other like things related to being just involved in band and things like that. And she was like, oh, I could do that for sure. Like the baton twirling section. And I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this then. And we pulled it off and I was really, really, really happy. It was definitely my dream come true.
I can talk about my favorite dance. We did a
Yeah.
dance at Kanchanai, which is the con we go to at the University of Michigan, and it's run by the anime club there, called A to Z, and that was just I love the song. It was from Produce 101 Japan, so also the show that we watched. And I love the song, and I thought the dance was really cute. But we had about 2 months to learn it, and it was not like it was really fun because towards the end of it, we just weren't sure how good it would be, and I think we pulled it off really well, so it felt really rewarding. And yeah, I really liked it.
Mm, I probably mine, I don't know a lot of dances myself. But my personal favorite solo dance is Magical Cure Love Shot. But I'm actually cursed because maybe Isaiah will pick these excellent, fantastic dances. Like the one we brought to Doki was called Netsuai Frozen. And watching it just kind of enraptures your heart with like a, whoa, that's so cool. And so she's done it twice now, but I definitely like Netsuai Frozen, which Maid Nana and Maid Rose are both in, but I'm not. I run the speaker system when they're doing that.
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
but that's definitely my favorite dance that the cafe does.
Okay, yeah. Side note, before I get to the next question, Western's Anime Club. I know you're hearing this, and I love y'all. Y'all helped me fantastically with the award show I did last year. But we got to step up our game, boys. We are getting outdone by Michigan of all colleges. This is ridiculous.
Oh, sorry.
No,
The
y'all are doing
Michigan
fantastic.
the Michigan Anime Club is also like super old. It's like I think close to 40 years old.
That's
Yeah,
But
oh,
something
a
like
lot
that.
yeah, a lot
what?
of anime clubs in the area are starting up their own cons. Like I know Schoolcraft has one that I've been meaning to go to for years, so definitely doable.
And
You hear
the
that?
believe
We
in
have
y'all.
no excuse.
I believe in y'all. I'd go.
anime club at Michigan is the second oldest one in the entirety of the United States. So there's a fun fact.
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
pretty
Whoa, that's
crazy.
crazy.
Kitsune has outnitted me, and I have nothing but respect. That's actually really cool to know about.
We've met some of the like older members from like the 80s and 90s, so they make sure that we know this.
It's true. They preach it to us.
They immediately let us know.
As somebody who works for a college radio station that's been around since like the 60s, 50s, I understand.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's amazing.
I understand all the old people immediately bringing you with lore.
Back in my day, we used to yada yada, and you're like, okay.
But it's also really cool, so I did need to know that information. Even
Well,
though
it's super cool, but I have
Yeah.
yet to meet an alumni who can explain the love letter we found while cleaning out the closets a year or two ago, and it's like,
Interesting.
you guys bring me some really cool facts. One of y'all needs to have witnessed this, so I know how this ended, because I just have like the end of the second act, dark hour, like love letter and
Ooh.
like some cheesy rom-com or Hallmark movie, and I don't know how it
was
ends.
it a good one, like acceptance or rejection?
I don't know. It was,
Oh no!
I forgot
You
the
need
names
to
because
get
it was a
the
year or
full
two ago,
story.
but it was
Frame
like,
frame it and hang it up in the closet.
see, I don't know if we still have it. We did a lot of cleaning when we moved to
No.
a new studio. It's tragic.
The archives.
Yeah, right? Like, we lost all this cool stuff. We got most of it back, but it's like, this is the one thing I was gonna hold on to. Like, guys, I need to
that's
know
pretty
sense.
cool.
What was it? It was like, boy writing to girl. He was wishing her the best with a new radio station. Sorry how things turned out. I hope we'll see each other again one day. And it's like, you're gonna leave me on a cliffhanger like that?
Whoa.
Right?
Brutal.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. How many other people saw that and touched it and put it right back down?
It's gotta
Like,
be.
that's none of my business.
This is kind of juicy. Okay, sorry, not to derail.
We'll have to invite us back for the mystery solving portion of the love letter
Look.
saga.
Everybody needs to like I don't know, say it. Maybe if we put this in an interview, somebody, maybe the person who wrote this, will tell me what happened. Are y'all married? Do you have kids? Like, happily ever after?
Discuss
Because
forward, perhaps.
it was like for sure like early 2000s, like aughts. So like, you know, they could be having their happily ever after right now. We don't know.
True.
I hope so. I'd like to think so.
Yes, it's better if they have their happily ever after, I think.
I hope so.
Anyway, to somewhat get us back on that, okay, you guys talk about dance, and then I started yelling at the anime club because we got to up our game. But one thing I did want to ask, is like your guys' maid outfits, are all like pretty different. The style seems to be relatively the same. So like, what do you do to make a maid outfit? Like, what, like, do you have like a specific website for like maid sonas, or like how does that work?
So the base of our dresses are all the same, as you noted.
Except for mine, which actually is missing its bottom ribbon. Fun fact.
It's just we'll fix it. I'll add it on. Sorry, a little bit of seamstress error, but so the base model is basically the same. It's a black dress with puffy sleeves, a white apron, and everybody has their maid or butler color, and they usually match their accessories based off of their maid or butler color. And they have a bow tie or a necktie that matches their maid or butler color, such as like I am like a dark red, so I wear like a lot of rose themed items or other red items on my uniform. So the cafe itself provides like the base like outfit and like the little petticoat, and then everybody sort of from there has their opportunity to decorate it the way they want, you know, wear what kind of tights they'd like, wear the shoes that they'd like, style their hair as they wish, and create their maid or butler sona as they wish from there.
I'll also add that I like to use my apron to kind of show off the things I'm interested in. Because I think sometimes it can be kind of intimidating to go to the maid cafe and you're like, I don't know if I have anything in common. But if I have like 5 or 10 pins of like different things I'm interested in, it's really easy
True.
for someone to turn around and go like, oh my gosh, I love Miku too, or I love Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy. and then it's really easy to be like,
You got it. You mentioned him somehow. I knew you would do it.
I work hard. I love follow-up call. That's my special maid quirk. But as for the sonas, we don't really have like established, I guess, lore for the maid sonas. But I think people like to kind of come up with their own. I definitely have maid lore, but I can't speak for the others.
Yeah, we let people be creative within their comfort zone, share what they want to, and don't share what they don't.
I will say, I think I've seen both of you based on your descriptions at Doki Doki, and I think actually Kitsune was the maid we were with at the time, which was pretty cool.
Yes.
You did great if that was you. My memory is awful. My eyes are worse. I'm just going to assume it's you and you did great.
I'm pink. I'm very tall. I have ears that make me even taller.
You have fox ears.
I have fox ears because I'm a fox. And what else is special about me? Oh, I had long nails. Maybe that helps. I'm not sure.
I think it was you. I'm like 90% sure, which is about as sure as I can be.
There you go. I will. I'd love to talk.
Okay. All you have to do is say that this is 89.1 Wider FM, your source for Radio Evolution. Herewith.
I'll say it in like a cool voice too.
I mean,
oh my God,
we're on the radio. You gotta, you know.
Oh, no.
That's true. That's true.
Would you like to hear how I do it?
Yeah, go for it.
This is 89.1 Wider FM, your source for Radio Evolution, and we're back here with your host Austin Vetor and the lovely maids from Dreams Come Chuu.
That was fantastic.
I have been doing this for a little bit, you know.
All right. Should I give it a go then?
Yeah, your turn.
This is 89.1 Wider FM, your source. Wait. Oh, I messed up.
use that one. Wait, use that one.
No. Wider. Something about wider.
Okay, take a deep breath.
Your source for Radio Evolution.
Okay. I can do this. This is 89.1 Wider FM, your source for Radio Evolution. We're here with Dreams Come Chuu.
Yay.
I'm Maid Kitsune.
I'm Maid Rosea.
And I made Nana.
And I'm your interviewer for today's session, Austin Vetor of 8-Bit Hour. So when we left off, I had been asking about the maid sonas that you guys had, which very interesting to learn about. Overhearing just like two conversations at the actual maid is like, oh, hey, there's like whole things for this, which is really interesting. But as I was scrolling through your guys' Instagram a little earlier, I noticed that there was maids in the Instagram that weren't at the convention. Do you guys like have a lot of overturn? Do people like do it for a couple years and go, or is it like, you know, maybe they'll do it for a convention season and then kind of part ways, or like, I don't know. How's that work? Like to get into like the more behind the scenes sort of stuff with, you know, all that.
So, there were maids and butlers that are part of Dreams Come True still, but we're not in attendance because we're only taking a small crew and because they just weren't available. But we do, because we're based in Ann Arbor, a lot of people are there with the school, so people join, they graduate, they move out of the city. But we do have like a strong group of people that have been there for many years. But we do get a bit of turnover. But I think most people, it's a multi-year commitment for most people.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of sad when they have to go, but I'm happy they get to graduate and grow up and go maid in their new careers.
I definitely get that as somebody who's been a part of the radio station all 4 years and realizing that this is most likely my last year. It's like I have to go, and it's a little tragic.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it now. Yeah, no, and it does make sense. It's not a insignificant drive from Kalamazoo to Ann Arbor. I mean, it's not
Right.
horrible, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier when I was asking just kind of some general questions, you guys had talked about how like it's like a proper small business out, and what aspects is it a small business? Is it more in like the terms of like the events you're going to? Has it just become less of a hobby because there's so many people and like so many things you have to do? I'm just curious on like the more logistical sides of that.
Yeah, so the May Cafe started off kind of sprung up out of, once again, the anime club at the university, where a couple of students were like, let's put on a May Cafe this year at our anime con. Just something kind of like small and silly, like nothing too serious. We'll do like a dance performance, something with idol vibes, um, and just kind of entertain our friends that are in this anime club and whatever community attendees show up. Uh, so it started from that, so just something very casual. But I think the big change happened post COVID, whenever I came into leadership, which is just sort of like fell into my lap. It's kind of crazy. Someone was like, "Do you want to pick this back up?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, I started to notice, a lot of things that I could improve and change, um, and had a lot of encouragement from people who had also previously been in the cafe. And I was really, really lucky that we recruited new people that year that were also really, really motivated and very helpful. And I thought like this could actually be something, because we had people attending and they liked what we were doing. And we tried out more things, such as like having dance performances while people are enjoying their, desserts, and just trying to expand a little bit more. Got into contact with some other business owners who were like, yeah, we can have like a little May Cafe event. That was really cool. And, a lot of it was just like alumni from the university who had experienced it, and people who came back to the cafe who had been previously members, who were like, yeah, we really want to help grow this. And they were kind of, yeah, now we're actually a proper small business, signing contracts with anime cons like Doki that we've talked about, and showing up and, living the dream, I suppose. Um, yeah.
That's awesome. Y'all like get that bag, ladies, because like signing contracts with
Yeah.
conventions is no small feat at any
Yeah.
capacity.
It was really scary. It was
Yeah,
like,
it
oh.
was a lot.
It
But
was.
it was fun, and I kind of led the process for the contract this year, and it was
She
a
did, thank
really good
you.
learning experience.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't
It's
learn
like,
something from that, that'd be a little
Yeah.
wild. So I,
it was like we really threw Nana out into the uh water after only telling her what swimming is.
I can
Conceptually.
swim, it turns out. I can swim.
Yeah, you can. You already knew how. We were like, go adult. Go be an adult. Go sign contracts.
well, it sounds like they threw you uh into like the deep end, and you just like perfectly dived in, at least mostly. So
She really
congratulations to
did.
that.
Thank
She
Because
really,
you.
really
Thank
did.
you.
again, that's no small feat. You guys were like a main attraction of the convention this year.
I'm
That's
happy to
nice
hear
to
that.
I
know.
like I miss seeing my favorite TikToker because y'all seem cooler. I'm not gonna lie.
We
Oh
do our
boy.
best.
Your best is pretty good. Um, so I heard you talking about like the kind of post-COVID kind of rebuilding, which seems like every club and group I've talked to has had that
Yeah.
for very obvious reasons. I mean, the radio station had that in a massive way to the point
Mm.
where we basically rebuilt from the ground up. So to the
Mhm.
boss listening to this, I love you. You great. Please let me do wacky hijinks still. I know plenty of other colleges have had similar experience. Were you like nervous having like that responsibility kind of like placed on you? I mean, there was other people there, sure, but like I'm just kind of
Yeah.
curious about your experience with that.
Um, it was it was it was kind of difficult, right? Coming out of COVID was hard for everybody in various ways. And of course, like, the base model of a May Cafe is something that was not something maybe a lot of community members were prepared for. I mean, it had all of the aspects of what, as a society we were like not doing as a group, meeting in small spaces and eating, which is by default what a maid cafe was not something a lot of people had done for perhaps a year, if not more. And so I came back into it being told, let's plan this event, but it might not happen. We'll see how, what the university thinks and how people feel. And so that was really difficult and scary, but I like I said, like I got really, really, really lucky at some of the people that kind of like blindly joined this maid cafe thing. Um, and we're like, sure, I'll do that. And then, they were really wonderful people and it really kept me motivated. And it was like, at least I got to know people in the area that I would not have gotten to know otherwise. I am not college age, so meeting these people would not have been something I would have done otherwise. And so it was really great becoming their friends and maybe a mentor. I hope maybe you guys see me that way. And I'm gonna really miss them because some of them will be graduating this year. But yeah, it was really them that motivated me.
Oh, the baby chicks finally leaving.
Yeah, it's gonna
don't
be
fly
tough.
away, don't fly
Yeah, I
away.
selfishly hope they stay in the area, but either way, I hope they're happy. I'm happy I was part of their experience here.
See, as one of the OGs post-COVID, I don't have that problem. I just get to be the father who is going out for milk and is probably not going to show back up again. So like,
Yeah,
I can't relate, but that does sound, I can see how that would be a hard moment for y'all.
yeah, yeah,
Seeing all these people go through, 4 or 5 years of college and then have to move
yeah,
on.
right.
Okay, so I did like a whole bunch of research into maid cafes, but that was all about half a month ago.
Right.
So I've forgotten a good chunk of it. I'm not gonna lie. Yada
All
yada. They became a
We're
very
here to remind
popular
you.
spot in the 90s during the economic crisis. There was some important lore that I had forgotten to remember somewhere in there. But I did want to ask. I read that there's 3 different versions, or like 3 different archetypes for a maid cafe. There's Victorian, which draws on Victorian England, that kind of fashion style. Modern, which is the traditional that you see everywhere, and what I assume is what you ladies draw your inspiration from. And then the Nico Cafe, which is just modern with cat girls.
So I don't know if I would say there's 3 typical archetypes, but usually there are like the more classic ones and then some where they're more kind of cosplay cafes, like kind of like the radio, sorry, not the radio, the cat Neko cafes. But we kind of have like a more typical like general one. Yeah, but there are also different themed ones. So you would have like a cat cafe, for example, or there's one where they do like Sengoku Jidai, like historical kind of theme stuff. There's some where like they have like nondescript wizard school, clearly like Harry Potter
Oh, that
inspired.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, so there really is something for everyone. In Japan, they have like cool ones like where you can order like like tsundere service where the maids are just like a little bit tsundere to you. It's really funny. And then they have ones that are more low key and there's not as much interaction. Usually those ones are cheaper, so it's like good if you're visiting on a budget. But we kind of take our inspiration from some of the more famous ones like Maydreamin and At Home Cafe, where it's very like typical. We have typical maid cafe kind of fare that we serve, and then we do the dance performances just like they do, where you can purchase a dance essentially to watch. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's 3 archetypes, but there are like kind of general either a more traditional, a more modern one, or a themed one.
See, kids, this is why your English teacher told you Wikipedia was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's very interesting to learn, though. Which, like, on like one hand, didn't seem entirely right. But then again, what do I know about maid cafes? So yeah, no. Yeah, Tsundere Cafe, I feel like, is a thing that I should have known existed. Just by
Yeah,
default.
right.
Like,
Of course, anime fans would want that.
of course.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really want to go. I haven't gotten the chance yet, but
To a maid cafe in Japan or to Tsundere Cafe?
oh, I definitely have been to various maid cafes in Japan, but I've never been to the
Lucky.
tsundere one. Yeah.
Maybe next time,
Or maybe next
Yeah.
time.
That's true.
I'm actually certain if you go in with the right attitude, it's a good laugh.
I mean, there's a restaurant
Goes
in
to the right one.
America that is just a Chisandre cafe. If you think about it, they just serve
That's
like
I've seen
beer
true.
and
that.
burgers.
Oh, what are the restaurants where they heckle you intentionally and
Yeah,
it's
the
just
one
for
that I
laugh?
can't say the
Yeah,
name of
right.
per
I know what you're
FCC
talking about.
guidelines, but
I
everybody
get
knows
it.
what I'm talking about.
I know the one. Yeah, stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
kind
So
of like
instead
that.
of being heckled by someone who is wearing like a normal waiter outfit, you're heckled by a beautiful anime girl. So
Yeah, no, one's
thumbs
definitely
up.
better. That wasn't in
It
question.
adds up.
But the
Yeah,
experience.
Where are you spending your money? Let's be real.
yeah.
Just kidding. Sorry.
No, you're right. There's no need.
No
One's
need to be
definitely
coy.
better than the other. We don't need it. We don't need. We're not gonna judge you for that. We all know. Anyway, though, what part of Dreams Come Chuu, do you think draws from like the traditional or the, I guess, stereotypical kind of Japanese cafes that you draw from, and what's more like affected by the fact that y'all are like from Michigan, which is very much not Japan, and it's like the definition of like Midwestern culture. Like where do you think those kind of Chew things overlap specifically with Dreams Come True?
Yeah, so I have, like Nana, been very fortunate to have the experience of going to a couple maid cafes in Japan where I definitely took note of things that they do there that I really enjoy. Um, and tried to incorporate them into our maid cafes, such as like having little dance performances as like a form of like entertainment while people are enjoying their meal. Um, and had to translate that into something that functions and will be seen in a happy and positive way to like the general like American audience. Um, thankfully, our I think we've had mostly like positive reactions from people who are like yourself, have never been to Maid Cafe, did not know what it was about, and they come in and they're pleasantly surprised, which I'm really happy about. I've also had like a couple people who just came and was like, "Y'all did great. This isn't my thing," and I was like, "That's fair." But sorry, I'm getting lost in the question.
No, that's great for me. It means I got to do less work. By
Yeah.
all means, get lost, jump in whatever rabbit hole you think's good.
I tend to do this as a bad habit, but um,
I will say that
so
something we do that I think is that we're proud of is if you go to a maid cafe in Japan, I think we do give a little bit more dedicated attention because I think that is influenced by the whole kind of North American like service culture. We do kind of feel like we need to offer a little bit more interaction. So something we do depending like on how busy it is sometimes we'll play games with customers, and that's not always something that you get the chance to do in Tokyo or other places in Japan.
yeah, and what I was trying to say, like we do have to function within also the constraints of our venue, such as working with the venue staff to serve food that is provided by them, or food that is deemed safe, be it like prepackaged items. So there's definitely other things we have to think about. And in addition, we want to serve foods that feel like a maid cafe but aren't unfamiliar to like a Midwestern audience in general. So those are some of the things we have to consider.
Okay, yeah, okay. Hold on, I'm processing. I want to make sure I understood it all.
Sure, take your time.
No, I'm just has there been like what's some of the main things you've had to like when like working with with either conventions or just events? What's been like one of the main things that you've had to work around with these groups? Is it just space, or is like food a kind of a big deal, or is there a secret
Mm,
third option I wouldn't know about?
I think um I think most of the time it is just the space. So we have a theme kind of, which is like a garden theme. So sometimes we bring decorations and we try to hang them up, but I mean at the end of the day it can sometimes be a little difficult to enchant the beautiful con room. So sometimes that's a challenge, but uh I think we do a pretty good job. Most Polaroids turn out well. Um,
Speaking on behalf of like the leadership side, I would say that the biggest thing that we have difficulty with, because we're a pop-up cafe, because we do events at like particular buildings, etc., we have to follow the kind of guidelines of the event. So for example, at Doki Dokkan, we had to have our food made by the venue, which is fine. But it kind of does put a limit on the kinds of things we could do, as much as we wish that we could do certain things, like omurice, for example. That's not the kind of thing that we can ask of particular venues. And so I think that is something that is a really cool thing that obviously like brick and mortar cafes get to do, is they get to fully choose their menu, but we have to adapt our menu based on the building, the event, etc. And so that, I would say, is something that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, and just to tie those both together, it's basically how do we show up to this very bland conference room that has a strange carpet pattern that looks like it's from the 80s and make it into a maid cafe? How do we decorate it so that you feel like you're somewhere else? And then how do we provide food so that it feels like it matches the energy of a maid cafe? So yeah, I would agree with both of those.
Are you guys telling me an office room built in like the 1960s isn't the best place to turn into Alice's Tea Party garden?
We do
Wild.
classrooms too. The classrooms are
Classrooms
Oh,
are
difficult.
that's so much
hard.
worse. That's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, classrooms, meeting rooms. I mean, like whenever you go to anime cons, of course, like those spaces are intended to be conference spaces, right? Like they didn't know some anime fans were going to show up and, make it for them for the weekend.
and let me just tell you the turnaround from being a maid to a student and going back to the same classroom. Like you look around the room and you're like, they don't know. Like my
They don't
secret
know I'm a maid.
exactly. My Hannah Montana identity was once in this room, and now they just think I'm a normal student, So it can be kind of fun.
You guys really do have the best of both worlds here. I respect it. Um, yeah, no, that sounds like it can be very difficult at times. Which is kind of funny because the guys down the hall from you, the other way at Doki Doki, just had a full-on sword fight in there. So it's like
They were
did
actually
have
so
a
fun.
They had
They were
sword
so
fight
cool.
It was
across
so
the
cool.
hall, Hurry
Yes.
Olympics at the end of the hall.
Yes.
They were very kind. They let me
Really
hold the
fun.
sword,
Ooh, which
Doki
sword?
Dokkan is really good at packing their
the
schedule with interesting
broadsword.
things.
I held it. It was like the size of me. I had to.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're like one more step away from being an anime character.
There you go.
This
My
is great.
my weapon of choice. Yeah.
Yeah, we were joking about like, what if we combine these two rooms and it was sword maids?
A niche we'll have to explore.
Stay tuned, perhaps.
Inside scoop here. Next Doki Dokkan gonna be wild.
Yeah.
You guys have been to quite a few like not just cons but like events and stuff. Do you guys have like a favorite moment from any event? For just any particular reason?
Mm,
Hmm.
so a lot of them we have gone to as attendees. I think all of us really try to show up for local Michigan nerdy events. Usually, like of course, like the anime side, sometimes the K-pop side. Something that was really special to me was recently we attended the Idol Festival at Ishokan in January, and it was really, really great to do something that was a little bit different, performing dance performances, not as a maid, but as I guess an idol, with a whole bunch of people who just love dancing and performing, and that was just a really cool moment because it was like I've made really cool friends that are gonna do this nerdy thing with me that's kind of difficult and scary, but we're gonna be there and we're gonna smile, and we had Nana there cheering for us, and it's a really nice memory. Yeah,
That does sound like a very good time. I
yeah,
won't lie.
it was fun.
I think my favorite moment at an event was probably at Doki Dokkan, just like fooling around, like just especially like in the hotel rooms, just like it's a good reason to like just fool around with your friends. And like yes, we work long days, very long days. A few of us were actually exhausted, like on the Monday after the weekend. Like I slept like 16 hours the next day.
Yeah, everyone was like,
But
just woke up. Hey
yeah,
guys, it's Tuesday.
yeah, no, but it was just fun, like goofing off. Yeah, goofing around.
Something important to me is like sometimes I get people who are very like invested in like I guess the character of Maid Kitsune. So it's pretty
Yeah,
fun
that
to
was
have
so
someone.
cool.
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
will come up
sorry.
and be like, "Oh, I drew you. I love Maid Kitsune. I love boxes." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." And of course I hang them in my room. Like I keep everything you've given me. Don't be weird about that, guys.
Oh my
But
God.
I really enjoyed the like fan interaction of it because as like a kind of early on in my life, the nerdy stuff I liked, a lot of people around me didn't like because I went to kind of like a smaller school, and so it was kind of had to be like very quiet about my dorkiness. So it's really nice to see other people kind of light up when they get that outlet, and it's really fun to be like the conduit through which they can be like, oh yeah, I like being nerdy. It's fun to talk to someone about this. So that's really important to me.
Yeah, no, as somebody who also went to a, mostly rural school in Indiana, the options were don't be a super big nerd about it or be a super
Mhm.
big nerd with those kind of nerds. It was never a good choice.
Exactly.
So I kind of get that,
Right.
yeah. I'd also like to point out you ladies are living the dream of every nerd everywhere, which is to have OCs that people like and apparently get fan art of, which is like I think the goal for everybody.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. As a young artist myself, I don't know, an earlier made kits today would have been pretty astounded.
Yeah, it's actually the people who attend our events are actually really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty great. Everybody else also seems pretty great.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh
else
It
is
was great
yeah,
talking to you
also, yeah.
there.
Yeah.
right.
No, that's like I am sure that is quite something. To like I guess know that people care about maid kitsune, uh, and like the personas that you guys have.
Mm.
Okay, to wrap up with like just some more generic questions. Um, okay, you guys I assume have to be some pretty big anime nerds to commit to a maid cafe. Like, what's your like favorite anime? Just overall, and then like, what's your favorite anime like right now? I need
Ooh.
recommendations. This is mostly what this is, but I'm sure the listeners will enjoy too.
I want to go. I'm excited.
Okay.
So, a very formative anime, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, is Cardcaptor Sakura, the original. I watched it, the English dub, as a child, and I didn't know exactly what anime was, but Network was showing a couple of them, like interspersed throughout like their afternoon, like Toonami cycle. Um, Actually, I think I might have it mixed up. This one might have been on Kids WB. I'm not sure.
Which
Whatever it
one was
was,
that?
I
What was the anime?
Cardcaptor Sakura.
Which
Cardcaptor
one's that one?
Sakura. Yeah. It is a magical girl anime about I believe she's like 9 years old. And she opens up this book that's full of magical cards. She the cards turn into these entities that spread out around Tokyo, where she just so happens to live. And a little magical creature comes out and like is like, "Look at what you did! Got to solve this now. You're a card captor now." And she takes it pretty well. And thankfully, she is a pretty sporty, like tough, and like very friendly, but like emotional girl. And so like I really idolized her as a child. Um, and as an adult, I look back on it and I can appreciate a lot of the like artwork and how it really kind of made me who I am. Like it made me like anime, made me like idols and like the poofy dresses, potentially even made cafes. There was a made cafe episode. And I don't think I would have looked further into anime if it wasn't for that one.
That does sound like
For
a WB kids show. They really like
I
their
think it
card games.
was. Yes, yeah, I think it might have been. I think I actually, to be honest, I watched that one more than a lot of Sailor Moon, which I think other kids my age were watching. So I was like Cardcaptor Sakura and Dragon Ball kid.
I mean, who wasn't a
Um,
Dragon Ball kid at some point in their
right,
lives, right?
true. But for now, I would like to say people should watch Free Ren. The other maids in the chat are like, yeah, I knew she was gonna say that. really great anime. Very fantastic and like deep characters, very relatable, and it's definitely about a potentially 1,000-year-old plus elf who grows up emotionally in her after, a few thousand years of life and discovers the value of friendship. Um, and it's just really beautiful. It was really, really good.
That's what I've been
So that
hearing a
was,
lot. I also know
yeah.
like one of the Artist Alley people that I had interviewed or that I had talked to, and hopefully I'm interviewing later.
Hey,
Was like dressed up as Faerun and like dead set on getting me to watch it. So it's on the list for sure.
it's a good one.
If I have to go next, I'd say
You
my
do have to
favorite
go.
anime of all time is probably Neon Genesis Evangelion, um, which is a
A
shocker to
classic.
anyone in my life. Um, it truly is a classic. I loved it. I never really knew. I kind of the way I learned about it was I was listening to Amelie's album called Nostalgia, and she covers Cruel Angel's thesis on it. And I would often like listen to that album on repeat, and that was my favorite song by far. Like I'd skip through sometimes just to listen to it. And my friend, my high school friend, was like, "Hey, I don't know if you knew this. It's from actually like a show, and they just put it on Netflix." And so we watched it together during COVID, and I became super engrossed in it. And it's kind of dominated my personality ever since. But I love that show, and I actually was super lucky, and they were showing the movie The End of Evangelion in theaters, and I went with Maid Nana, and we watched it together. And it was so cool just going to the theater and seeing it with a bunch of people who also really enjoyed it. And maybe I dressed up, but
And
um,
Maid Mirai was also there. We
oh
love Maid
yes,
Mirai.
Maid Mirror was there too. I almost forgot. Um, but yeah, that's my favorite anime of all time for sure. And I am looking at my figure shelf where it's dominated by Asuka's.
As it should
Um,
be. That's you picked the
thank you.
best one.
Of course, of course. And if you notice any similarities between Maid Kitsune and Asuka, I wouldn't be shocked myself. Um, as for what is there to watch right now, Maid Rosea recommended this show called Wonderful Precure. It's super cute, another magical girl anime. And it's about these girls that transform into, or I guess a dog that transforms into a girl, and then they fight evil creatures together through the power of friendship and love. And it's very cutesy and kind of a turn your brain off and really enjoy anime. So that's what I've been up to recently.
That does sound. Might have to
Um,
check that one out. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
so my favorite anime of all time. So I really love 90s anime. So I love Sailor Moon and I love like Utena and stuff. But I think if I had to say my favorite anime of all time, I would say Review Starlight. I just made the two of them and Made Me Right and Butler Barris, who was at Doki Dokkan last year. I made all of them watch the movie last night. Actually, well, not I didn't make Made Mirai do it. That's also one of her favorite animes. But I love kind of fighting stuff, but like sword animes. And then I also love Magical Girl and I love music anime. So it's like a mix of all of that, I think. And I think it offers a really interesting especially the movie. I think it's really good and yeah, I don't know if it's super popular in outside of Japan. It's not super popular in Japan, but it's not super well known outside of Japan too. But I highly recommend that. And then my favorite anime right now, I love slice of life kind of stuff. So I just finished the third season of Yuru Camp or Laid Back Camp. Um, and yeah, that's just, if you don't know what that's about, it's just about young girls camping. And every episode, they just go to a campsite and they set up their tent and they cook food. And it's very low key, very relaxing. And whenever I tell it to people, they're like, "So what do they do?" And the answer is nothing. They just camp. But it's gotten me really kind of motivated to go camping. I've never been camping. I really like hiking and like doing like water sports and stuff like that. But I've never been camping before, so it's kind of inspired me and I love when things kind of make me want to do new things.
I will admit you can't go wrong with slice of life almost ever. Also, camping's pretty fun. It was like my favorite part of Boy Scouts looking back. So I mean, I get it. You should have a good time. Also, it's Michigan. There's plenty of great spots. I'm gonna share my two right now, and then we are running out of time, and then we get to do the fun
Yeah.
extra stuff. My first
That's it.
anime was probably Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon.
Classic.
My favorite anime overall is like, not to be basic, but I think it is Cowboy Bebop.
No,
Like
that's fine.
like that
Great
is
one.
I think it's valid.
it's like vanilla. You can't ever go wrong with it. But like,
Yeah.
It's true. Vanilla's the best flavor.
yes,
Hey.
finally somebody gets it. My actually no. If it's and then no, not that vanilla isn't the best flavor. I just realized I am like way too obsessed with Girls in Panzer, which is a high school sports anime, but the
Oh.
sport is
Is it
tank
really?
combat.
Yeah, they're like tanks, right?
It's tank
I didn't
combat.
know
It's
sports.
so
I
good.
knew it was tanks, but I
It's a
didn't know it
sports
counted as a sports
anime.
anime.
So like,
Interesting.
haha. Also, as a former history nerd, there's so many jokes and references that you only get if you like listen to Sabaton and play like Hearts of Iron 4 or some nonsense. Which are references I don't expect any of you ladies to get. If you do, great. But that was for
I love
me and
history.
like my 5 fans who also understand what I'm saying.
I love history. I had a crush on Odysseus' son from the Odyssey.
You know what?
That's
Out of the
wild.
Greek people, you could have picked worse. Like, you know,
That's
How
true.
did you
And that's
bring
just
that up
really about me.
here? So
That's just
she's
really
suddenly.
just
about
that
me.
good.
Whoa, I did not know that about you.
Okay. Sadly, though, we are out of time. So, for all the lovely, lovely people listening to you guys here, where can they find more of you and more of Dreams Come Chuu?
Yeah, so we are on most of the popular social medias at Dreams Come Chuu, and that's CHUU. On Instagram, on TikTok, on what are some of the other ones? Oh, Twitter, we have a different one. That one's DCC Maid Cafe. Yeah, if you go to our Instagram, that's our main home and where we interact the most. And you want to find us elsewhere, you can find it linked off of there.
Okay. And you, of course, can listen to more of 89.1 Wider FM, your source for Radio Evolution, by staying tuned to this fabulous station. And you can also check us out on the app, found everywhere you can find apps, with our app, the Wider app. I'm always terrible at this part, I swear. It's just,
It's okay.
we're trying our best here, folks. We also, more importantly, can check us out at widr.org. Where you can read articles from our fabulous DJs, check out the schedule for all the upcoming shows that are happening as the year starts up again, and tune in live from anywhere in the world, as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection. Would you ladies like to try rolling us out? Because apparently I just can't do it tonight.
Yes.
Sure, what do we do?
Okay, all you have to say is that this is 89.1 Wider FM, and you have been listening to the 8-Bit Hour. And then, whatever goodbye you think is appropriate. I usually say, have a good evening. Now let's get you back to your regularly scheduled programs.
What about See You, Space Cowboy? That's from
I
Bebop.
respect it. Yes, that should be
Ooh.
what I'm doing instead.
See you
also
later,
do that.
Space Cowboys. Yeah. There you go.
Okay,
gift-
who's gonna do it?
Oh, do you want me to do it?
Any of you can do it. All 3 of you can do it if you want.
Can we do it in sync?
We can try.
I can count you down if you think that would help.
Let's do it.
Okay. We're going to go on 1.
Oh my god.
On 1. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
89.1.
Wider FM.
Wider
You have to say this is or this is.
Oh.
No,
Oh my
go.
God.
You do it.
Okay. This was 89.1 Wider FM, and you have been listening to the 8-Bit Hour.
We'll see you,
See you,
Space
Space
Cowboys.
Cowboy.
That was fantastic, ladies. And to everybody else, I wish y'all a very good day. And now let's get you back to your regularly scheduled programs.
Yay!
Bye-bye.
That was fantastic. Y'all did great.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you.
That was
We have
great.
less than a
Fun.
minute left.
Thank you so much.
But I really appreciate this. Once it gets out, I'll send you a link because we usually put this on the YouTube so you guys can share it. But
Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll
thank you
definitely
so
be great
much.
for us
Thank
and
you.
also you.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for hosting. You're a fantastic host.
I
thank you for
try,
being
you know.
interested.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys want to do more stuff with the radio station to get out there, you know where to find me. Honestly, I do a game show at the end of, or I do like an award show at the end of the year, and we try to have an anime section. If you guys like want to host that, or like give it a shot or participate, let me know. Actually, I'll
Make
probably
Kitsune
reach
would
out
be
at that
down.
point. But
Will
Nick Kitsune would be
do.
down.
Kitsune is our local extrovert, so.
I'm the biggest weeb.
Oh, we're about to get booted. Thank you
Alright.
so much.
Okay, thank you
of
so
course, it's been a pleasure. Ladies. And that's a wrap, folks.